Okay. Welcome. Good morning again to the three of you. Hopefully, we get a few more folks trickling in as we go on here, but if not, no worries because you all are here ready to go. So, to get us started today, because I know we did finish up the movie Last Class, which was on Monday. So, I'm gonna try to kind of recap that since it kind of took us right toward the end of class, right? So, I'd like us to get started with this question today. So I got two questions here, right? You can answer in the chat for me if you can. The first one is again thinking about the movie as a whole, which I think most of us in here were in class watching, so should be okay. First one is, do you think Troy built the fence to keep people in or keep people out? Who do you think he was keeping in or out? And the second one is, movies tell stories through patterns. What was at least one pattern you saw in the movie that helped move the story forward? Okay. So think about these two questions. Respond in the chat. If it's easier for you to come off mute and respond that way, that is also fine. But I'd like you to respond in the chat if you can, so that way I can see an answer from everybody. Again, thinking about these two questions right here to get us started today. So I'll give you guys um, about 2 3 minutes to see if you can come up with something here.
I think he built the fence to keep people in, dude, because you seen the ending how the fence closed when all his family was there.
I did, and you know what? That's a really good point, Jared, because that's what we're gonna talk about that today. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. So what do you think that means when the fence closes like
It was kind of creepy, I know that, but
that?
it was to
What?
keep people, his family close.
Keep his family close together in the fence. Is that what you're saying?
I think he's the one that closed it.
Yeah, like his spirit, right? And we're gonna kind of watch that scene again and look at that. But that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that's definitely one way to look at it. He's trying to keep his family in. Um, so if people have other thoughts, feel free to share them in the chat. But think about, was he maybe also trying to keep someone or something out with his fence? What do we think that might have been? Right. And then also don't forget about this second, really good job, Jaya. Those are really good points. And then don't forget about this second question here. What was at least one pattern you saw in the movie that helped kind of push the story forward? Think about, patterns of similarities or differences. So what's a pattern of the same kind of things happening in the movie, and what's a pattern of, one thing happening and then it kind of happens again, but it's a little different. And how do those patterns help progress the story? That's what we want to look for when we study films. All right, so we'll check the chat here, see if we got anything else coming in. All right, nothing in there yet. So, any other thoughts on these two questions? Who do we think? Do we think Troy built the fence to keep people in or out? Who do you think he was keeping in or out? Jair's already said maybe he's trying to keep his family in. Could there be somebody or something he was also trying to keep out? What do we think about that? And then this second question: what was at least one pattern you saw in the movie that helped to push the story forward? All right. So again, got a couple of folks in here. Would love to hear from everybody. So Relisha, Tyquil, if you guys also have any thoughts, feel free to share them in the chat or you can come off mute. What else do we think about these two questions here?
I say for the second one, the regular everyday conversation he had with his friend.
Yeah, that's a good one. His conversations with Bono. And notice, um, if you noticed how the tone of those conversations kind of changed over time. Like when we first see him and Bono at the beginning of the movie, it's very jovial. They're both drinking, right? And then they kind of get a little bit more serious because Bono realizes, that Troy is doing what? He kind of
Cheating.
tries to tell him, hey, you should kind of, be upfront about this. What do you think it is?
Cheating on his wife.
So, yeah. So he's kind of saying like, hey, you need to tell Rose about this Alberta girl, blah blah blah. And then if you notice when we watched the movie on Monday, the last time that Troy and Bono speak when they're kind of at the bar, we can almost kind of see like the expression in Bono's face and the kind of the tone of the conversation that it's almost like Bono's kind of saying goodbye, right? That he knows, because they're even saying like, "Hey, I'm gonna stop over, soon," and they're like, "Okay, cool, I'll see you around." But we can kind of tell from their body language, from the tone that like, they both kind of know they're probably not going to see each other much again because Troy has, even though he's still living in the house, he's kind of been put out by his wife, and his wife and Bono's wife are friends, and so they kind of know what's going on. It's we can
Yeah.
see the tone in those conversations, steadily decline as Troy kind of like steadily declines in terms of you know his kind of behavior towards his family. But that's the interesting piece because, like Jair said, in the end, it seems almost as if Troy's spirit is kind of closing that gate, and we're going to watch this scene in a minute. Is kind of closing that gate to keep his family in. Is there anything or anyone that you think Troy might have been trying to keep out with his fence? And again, I'd love to hear from Alicia or Tyquil on some of this stuff as well. But Jair is killing it. But is there anyone or anything that he might have been trying to keep out? Do we think? And welcome to our celebrity guest.
Hi guys. Like half the time I say hi, I'm on mute, but this time I wasn't. So improving. How's everyone doing? I feel like I've already seen Jahir and Tyquil in class today. Hi,
Hey,
Billy.
birthday.
How you doing? Jahir, you've inspired me to start watching the Marvel movies. Am I right?
I
mean, I think
rewatched
you should
the Endgame
make
and
sure you
Infinity
know what they're
War
called
the other
before you
day.
start watching.
Wait. Jahir, what did you say?
I said I rewatched the Endgame and the Infinity War the other day.
Were they as good as you remembered?
Yeah.
They
Okay.
always are. They always are. And you got to watch them. And now they're on Disney Plus. You got to watch them.
That's why I was watching them.
You got to do both. Yeah, you can't watch one and then
The
not watch.
thing they ain't got Spider-Man on there. I would have watched Spider-Man too.
See,
Yeah, I'm waiting for that one to come on there too.
I
That
don't
might not be for a while.
It's not going to jump on there. They ain't got ownership of it.
Yeah.
I don't have Disney Plus, so this makes it. I mean, my roommate does, but I just like don't know her login, and she doesn't want to watch them with me, so I'm on my own here.
So how are you watching them then?
I'm not. I'm just intending to.
Okay.
I just need to figure it out. Okay, so I found this on Instagram the other day, and it's like the viewing order that you should watch. So tell me if you agree with this, okay?
Yeah, I can send you if I don't agree with that one, I can send you the one that I used.
Okay, so it's Captain America, Captain Marvel, Iron Man 2, Thor, The Incredible Hulk, Avengers, Iron Man 3, Thor, Captain America, I guess the Winter Solstice.
The Winter Soldier.
I can't read that. It's really small. Sorry. The Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Avengers, Ant-Man, Civil Captain America Civil War, Captain America Civil War, Black Panther, which I have seen. That's the only one of these that I've seen. I'm
I
like
mean, it's a good one. It can
12
stand
movies in.
alone.
Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Wasp. What? Ant-Man.
Man the Wasp.
Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah.
Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Wait, no, I went backwards. Sorry, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Thor, Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Is that right? Avengers,
Yeah.
Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. So wait, Jair, I have to go through all of these to get to the two you just mentioned?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the two at the end.
Okay. All right.
And there's about to be a big another one.
There's
That order is, yeah, that order is okay. I think there's a little bit of a better one that I can send you.
along.
That
And
kind
also,
of,
I
like-
would say if there are any unnecessary ones, like Ant-Man seems like one I'm not that interested in. Do I have to watch that?
No, you
Spider-Man
for
2
sure
should be
should watch that
after
one.
Infinity War and Endgame.
I can watch it afterwards.
Yeah, that's supposed to be after.
Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah, feel free to send along.
I'll send you a better one.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
You know, I have no idea.
And then WandaVision.
And WandaVision. You see, I started that and that's
Yeah.
why I stopped, because I wanted to know what I was.
Yeah, definitely do not
You see,
watch that if you haven't seen any of the other ones.
Yeah, it won't make no
Yesterday-
sense.
yesterday, Mr. Townsend told me, you don't need to watch anything else. You can just watch WandaVision. I'm
Don't
guessing
listen to Mr. Townsend.
Let's skip into everything.
He's crazy.
So I'm gonna listen to you guys. Also,
I mean,
my
like,
roommate and I
if
did
you
start.
wanted to,
What?
I was gonna say, if you wanted to, could, like, it's a great show in general. So if you wanted to, could you and be fine? Sure, but like you wouldn't get the same out of it emotionally as you would if you had watched everything up to that point.
Yeah,
So like
my
it's
roommate and I
still
were
a very
watching it,
well,
like,
especially all the Avenger movies. You gotta watch all the Avenger movies to understand what that is about.
yeah, like yeah. So like it's a very well done show in general. So like, could you just watch it stand alone and enjoy it? Yeah, sure, because it's a good show. But like, will you get the most out of it if you don't watch all the other stuff first? I don't think so. And the next Disney Plus Avengers show is premiering tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm watching that.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, so I have like a lot to do
Yeah.
before then.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's a good spring break.
and in 3 more months, I heard that's when Spider-Man come out.
Yeah, if you don't want to, go outside or leave your house, then it's a good spring break project. All right. But a good project for right now is to tell me if there was anyone or anything else that Troy was trying to keep in with his fence, do we think? And again, I would love to hear from Relisha and Ty Quayle this morning, since I haven't heard from you guys yet. Think about what Troy is always talking about, or something he's always talking about that he is kind of always battling with, and why he might want to build a fence to keep that out. What else do we think might be involved here? It's almost kind of this thing I'm talking about is almost kind of like another character itself in the play. He talks about it at the beginning. He talks about it after Alberta dies. He talks about it after him and Corey kind of have their falling out.
Is it his baseball career?
Not his baseball career, but he uses the baseball metaphor to kind of talk about this thing that he's always like wrestling with, or that he's kind of like, trying to run away from.
Is it his dad's spirit or something that he did?
No, it's not an actual, it's not an act to give you a hint. It's not an actual person. It's kind of like a thing that he makes out to be a person.
Well, I heard his son said that that's his Uncle Gabe's money.
Oh yeah, so I know what you're talking about. So no, not quite that. Think about like almost more towards the beginning of the movie where he makes that big speech and he talks about like, we were wrestling for 3 days and then, I threw him away and he grabbed his sickle and he left and he said, I'll be back. And then I said, I'm gonna keep up my vigilance and I'm always waiting for him, and this, this thing isn't anything other than a fastball on the outside corner and stuff like that. Do you remember what he was talking about there?
Wrestling his demons or something? No, I don't remember that.
You're close. Yeah, you're very super super close. His demons, or what's another word that starts with D that it might be
The devil.
that involves the devil. Yeah, the devil or death. Right.
Oh,
Hey,
Oh.
Zanelli, good morning. Let me make sure I got everybody else in here.
I hear. I also thought it was the devil. So
Mhm.
Good
Yeah.
morning.
Good morning. Good morning. But yeah, they're kind of like intertwined, right? Because he says, the devil is usually like present in other people, and then death is kind of like this own character. And like I said, he calls it out at the beginning, and then he calls it out after Alberta dies, and he's kind of talking out the window, and he says, "Okay, Mr. Death, I'm gonna be ready now." And he even says, "I'm gonna build a fence around my house, and you stay on the other side." So, like Jair said, how he is kind of in one way building a fence to keep his family in, he's also building a fence to kind of keep death out, to protect himself and maybe his family too. But here is, you know, the other kind of big question here. As we're just kind of recapping the movie here before we go over the checkpoint and final product. But Jair is right in that he kind of builds that fence to keep his family in, and we'll watch that kind of last scene that shows that. But do his actions show that or no? Like, can we, like, if we look just at his actions, do we think he's trying to keep his family in, or does it seem more like his actions are pushing them away rather than keeping them in his fence?
Pushing him away.
Definitely pushing him away, because what are some of the things we know he's done, right? He does not have a great relationship with his sons. He's
He had a whole
Cheated.
baby on her.
Yeah, he
right,
cheated.
right, had a baby with another woman out of wedlock. You know what I mean? So definitely all these actions that we would think are kind of the opposite
He didn't want
of,
to give his oldest son
keeping a family together.
$10.
Right. Yeah, and he was kind of, frugal with the money and stuff like that. But all that being said, and this is kind of why Troy Maxon is such an interesting kind of protagonist, right? All that being said, as we watch the last few minutes here again, notice how Corey comes and he says, "I'm not going to go to the funeral," and then his mom
And his
kind of
mom
tells him
didn't
like,
change
"Hey,
his mind.
yeah, for as much as you think or you're not trying to be him, you actually are him, because he's kind of, he did the best with what he had." And so then watch, as we just talked about, okay, all his actions seem to be doing the contrary. We see at the end, through his kind of own way, he really has kind of kept his family inside his fence. So let's watch here and see if we can. I gotta pause quick so I don't get kicked off YouTube. Start recording again. All right. So what I need from you is checkpoint 2, which is on Summit. It's under, hang on one sec. It's under scene annotation, right? Checkpoint 2. Okay. Looks like this. Now we've gone over this once already, so there are recordings on YouTube you can watch to kind of get caught up. But again, basically you're just annotating this scene from the movie right here, looking for these uh, two things: word choice that kind of develops the plot or the characters, and then also word choice that helps to support some of the specific themes that we've talked about. And remember, a theme should be the message, the lesson that we're trying to take away. Now, Jay, you asked a question before. Okay, where do I put my info? When you're doing this, so how you can do it is the way I kind of showed you in that example that's up on YouTube already. But if you see something that you want to annotate because you think, okay, it might apply to these two things right here, like for example, this phrase we used when we went over it last time, where Chloe says, "How come you ain't never liked me?" We can highlight that by going up there, highlighting it, okay? And then what you can do is just I just kind of make a dash, and then I just type right next to it, and I say, this word choice, implies that Troy seems distant, cold, unloving as a parent, right? Kind of like we did last time. And you can just kind of type it right next to what you highlight, right? And then you can just keep going as you progress through the scene, right? And keep doing. So you're kind of annotating right here on this document. So it's going to seem a little cluttered if you once you go all the way through, but that's kind of the point of when we annotate something. And ideally we'd be doing this, on paper, and you could highlight and kind of mark it up as you go, but unfortunately we cannot. So this is the way we're kind
So
of doing it now.
I'm
Right?
annotating, right?
So does that make sense? Is that your what?
Then how do I
What's up?
get the word choice and the theme from
So
annotating?
So basically, so annotating just means that we're taking notes and marking it up, right? So the stuff
Mhm.
that you are annotating for, or the stuff that you're trying to like mark up and take notes on, should be these two things: the word choice and the theme. So basically, this is the part that is kind of up to you. So you're looking for, and that's why I have definitions here for each of them: specific word choice using this scene, and the ways in which the connotations, or like the kind of emotional meanings, of those words, the feelings that they convey when we hear them, develop the plot and the characters. In other words, as you read through the scene and you see words or phrases that kind of, put a a feeling or an image, in your head, that kind of, sheds light on like who Troy is as a character, who Corey is as a character, kind of the plot of the play in or the film in general. Those are the words or phrases that you're gonna highlight and annotate and explain why they seem to kind of help develop the plot or the characters. And then you're going to do the same thing with a theme. And if you go back to checkpoint one, right, that we already did, and you look at, your theme statements that you put in this box, all right, if you did them correctly, right, you should have some theme statements in here, like, um, you should always work hard for your family, or whatever the themes might be. And then if you see any of those themes, or anything that kind of supports those themes in this scene, you can annotate that stuff here too. All right. Like, for example, we can see, when Troy gives this part of the speech. All right. So I would highlight this. Okay. I get out of here every morning, bust my butt, putting up with them crackers every day, because I like you. Maybe this could help support the theme that, Troy works hard every day because he feels like it's his, you know, responsibility for his family. Or maybe that's a theme of like, working hard to provide. You should work hard to provide for your family, or whatever it might be. And so then you would kind of annotate this here. You can make a little dash and say this, uh, word choice helps, um, support the theme that you should, uh, always work hard to provide for, your family. Okay. Or we can maybe look at it in kind of some of the racial themes, like, despite his, despite, uh, discrimination, he's still working hard for his family, whatever it might be. Okay. And if you want to keep the whole thing highlighted so it's easier for you to keep track of, you can do that too. I can just go up here and highlight it again. So whatever works for you, right? And then you just kind of do that through the whole scene, right? Does that make it a little more clear now, Jair?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. If you still have questions on that stuff, you can always email me or come see me in the Summit Lab, which I will be in this afternoon. All right. That's the basic gist. Okay. And then once you finish that, and we'll go over this a little bit more next Monday, but if you finish checkpoint 2 today or tomorrow, um, and if you do it by tomorrow, you'll still be able to get it on the progress report for, the last one. If you Once you finish this, then you can go scroll all the way down on Summit towards the scene analysis paper, and you want to click the second one here. This is going to be our final product. And essentially, what you're doing is just writing me kind of a 5 paragraph or so essay analyzing a specific scene. Now, if you have a scene in mind that you like, that you really connected with, you can use that scene. If you don't, then like it says in the directions, you can use the scene from checkpoint 2. That's why we did the scene this way, because if you look at the directions, okay, what are you looking for? You know, the language and word choice that develops the characters and plot, and then, you know, how it connects to the theme. Well, guess what? You're looking for both of those in this checkpoint already. So you're kind of doing everything you need to do for the final product already in checkpoint 2. So that's why, like it says here, if you don't have a scene you want to do, you know, that you can think of, you can just use the scene from checkpoint 2. But what you're doing now is basically putting it into essay form and telling me in essay form, like, here's the background of the scene, here's its context, you know, within the film, you know, what you need to know about, you know, the background of the scene, you know, what happens in the scene itself, who says what, and, you know, how this kind of develops the characters and the plot, and then what this means in terms of like how it relates to, you know, one of the major themes in the film, right? And that's what you're doing for the final product. Okay. And again, we'll go over that more in depth Monday, but that just gives you a little kind of preview. So questions on any of that, on what you're working on, where to find it on Summit, how to do it? All right, cool. Then if there are no questions, the rest of the time is yours to work on that. So again, the first thing you should be trying to finish is checkpoint 2. Submit that to me, and then if you finish that, you can start on the final product. Right, checkpoint 2. I should have from you by tomorrow, and then final product, everything more or less due by next Friday, since that is the end of our term. Okay. Questions about any of that? And again, if I don't hear from you, I'm going to assume that you have no questions, that you're good to go.
I have a question for you, Mr. V.
Sure.
Our PD tomorrow, that's a jam board or something at 9 a.m.?
We have one at 9, and I think, yes, that is the Jamboard one. And then we have another one at 10. And I forget what that one is about. And geez. And then we have a teachers meeting at 1, I think. I don't know if you're going to go to that or not, but those are our 2 PDs.
I think you told me I didn't have to go to that because I have another meeting.
But it is nice that the 2 PDs are back to back, so we can kind of get them out of the way. Yeah. And Miss Christina said that the Jamboard went really well in her class, so I'm excited to
cool.
kind of see about that.
The only thing good about Jamboards is the sticky notes.
The sticky notes?
Yeah, because the writing on the Jamboard is bad. We got your own page.
I don't know it well enough, so I'll have to.
Yeah, we'll learn more tomorrow, but I will keep that in mind.
Oh, I'm tired. This weather kills me.
Dude, it's the weather, it's the losing the hour of sleep.
Yeah, that's really messed with me.
It's a 1-2 punch.
I couldn't go to sleep at all last night.
I've been having some trouble waking up as well.
Jahir, how's your sleep been? Because I know that
Bad, real bad.
Really bad. What's bad about it? You're going to sleep late?
I went to sleep real late last night.
Like so late it was really early.
Like 6 o'clock.
That's like when my roommate gets up.
I had no sleep
like
last night.
2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Craziness.
I was trying to go to sleep the whole time too.
Yeah, I bet. That's the worst, when you're laying there and you're just like, please.
I do hate that, because the whole time you're thinking, all right, if I fall asleep now, I'll get this many hours of sleep. And you're like, all right, if I fall asleep now, I'll get this many hours of sleep. And then it just
Yeah.
winds up with you not falling asleep at all.
Sometimes it's about talking to yourself in the right way. Like for me, if I'm worried about something, I'd be like,
Shit that just got up and just started running or something.
that could do it too. Yeah, it's like I just have to tell myself you can't do anything about it now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get sleep. That will help the most.
You know what I do is I watch these videos of people getting their hair like washed or massaged.
So
And it's like
funny.
it's like an ASMR thing. So there's no talking, and you just hear like all this stuff going on, and it knocks me out. I don't know what it is about it, but it puts me right to
Boring.
sleep.
That's what takes
Because
your
it's
mind off it.
boring, you said.
There's Shamir. Yeah, you need something that like takes your mind off of whatever it is that's like, occupying it enough that it doesn't take energy to focus on, but it allows you to not ruminate.
Right.
The trick that I use is counting backwards from 1,000.
No.
I can't do that. That's boring.
Unfortunately, last night I got to like 700. Like, oh my God, it's taking forever.
That's funny. Right. Hey, Shad, welcome. We just went over kind of how to do checkpoint 2 again, everything else that's due. So it'll be, if you missed it, it'll be up on the class recording that'll be on YouTube later today. So you can check there. And again, this is for everybody. You can also always come in the Summit Lab if you have questions or you're unsure about anything, especially now that the end of the term is approaching. Don't be afraid to utilize that Summit Lab so you are staying on track, getting caught up with everything. All right. Ladies and gents, if there's no other questions about anything, we can. Hey, Kanaya. As
Hello.
I'm closing my attendance, all these people are
Hello.
coming in. Hey, what's up, Kanaya?
Yeah.
Nothing. Am I missing work in your class?
I believe you are. Yes. I think the best thing to do.
I have work today, so I don't think I can do it because I have to also do Miss Christina's work, and I don't know, y'all just be doing too much for me. So
Right. I think the best thing. Oh no, I don't. You're not. So yeah, I think the best thing to do, Kanaya, would be when there's a day that you can come to the Summit Lab in the afternoon between 1 and 3. I would do that because then we can kind of take some time one-on-one and go over everything that you owe. And
So I'm off Friday and Saturday, like
Okay.
tomorrow. But
yeah.
There's no school tomorrow.
Friday you guys don't have class, and the teachers are doing like trainings and meetings and stuff. So if there's a day that works next week, any day next week will work too. So you can also email me too and ask me if you have questions and stuff like that.
you said next week will work with you too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So any day next week except Wednesday between 1 and 3 in the afternoon, I'm in that lab. And then you can also, if you come to mentoring on Wednesdays, there's also time to talk to your teachers to get caught up on stuff you're missing. So that works too. So I know it's tough not being able to do stuff in person, but that's kind of the way we try to combat that, is by building in those times where you can kind of see teachers one-on-one and go over stuff. But they're only effective if you use them, right? If you don't use them, but then you're still not coming to class or doing the work, then we can only help you so much. You know what I mean? You got to help us help you. Okay. So yeah, let me know what day works next week, and then we can plan to kind of meet in the Summit Lab and go over stuff. Right. Same for you, Shad. Same for you for anybody else who is a little bit behind. All right. But are there questions about anything else about what we went over today, the checkpoint, where to find it on Summit, how to do it, anything like that? All right, a really good job today. Thank you, Jair, for keeping us going. And don't forget that checkpoint 2 I should have by tomorrow, and then everything else due by end of day next Friday, because that is the end of our term. All right. If you have questions about stuff, shoot me an email. Come see me in the Summit Lab later today. And if not, be safe. Enjoy your 3-day weekend. And I will see you guys again on Monday. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you, Miss Kelsey, for joining us.
Always a pleasure to be in this class.
All right. And I'll send you my Marvel viewing order.
Yeah, I need that. I need that so that I don't go all out of order.
All right. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
Bye, guys.